Oh, look at that. It's live. Oh, it says it's live. It's ticking anyway. Not sure if this, hopefully the microphone's working. Let's have a look. Yes, I'm live now here on Wednesday evening. It's after 10 o'clock and it's a chilly here in my YouTube studio out in the motel. Apologies, missed the earlier live. So I'm just looking at the screen. Missed the earlier live that I should have started at 7:30 p.m. here in NZ. But yeah, anyway, it's after that I missed it because I was busy and finished doing some training. Just got back from a run, well, jog, shuffle really. That went for about longer than I expected it to, but took well over an hour and a half, but well worth it. So back, cleaned up, got me a hot Milo and the smiley face mug, and we're here to solve New Zealand's political issues, all from the dizzying heights of the my little YouTube studio out in the garage. Anyway, that's not really the case. It's probably more so to have a whinge and a moan about it. I've got a couple of videos to share, so I'm just looking at the screen to bring that stuff up. There likely won't be anybody on this live anyway, which is all good because I'm used to talking to myself these days, being a YouTuber. I think that's just part of the lifestyle. Get comfortable talking to yourself. Bloody hell, where is it? Eta. Not even organised. Well, not organised with regards to tonight, because I wasn't planning on doing the live. I was just, I was supposed to do the live. Then a few things came up. Then went and did some training because I'd missed my afternoon training session. Where is it? And then got back, got cleaned up and thought, well, you know what? Feel like yapping away now, so I might as well do a live. Posts. What I have, there was a few comments that came through actually on the post that I put up. Let's do this. Share that, I think. Where's the share button? Share. The hell? Yeah, there we go. Share. It wasn't a massive amount of comments, but there were some comments that came through on the post that I put up last night. If you were to start a new political party here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, that actually focused on working for the betterment of New Zealand, no fluff, no political games, just real outcomes for Kiwis, what would you call it? And what would your priorities be? So hence, we're going to look to solve those issues tonight. Seeing as the National can't even organise a bloody piss-up in a brewery, or they can't even organise a coup in their own party. Was it the National Party? Oh, Mr. Potato Head, Luxon. Drop your best name ideas and priorities in the comments below. So some of you did that. I gave a few comments for starters, or ideas for starters. There wasn't a massive amount. There was some here. What's this? Dobby NP, United Party. The race divide is something I'm not happy with, yet there has to come a meeting of what we have in common. Okay. That's a sensible one from this person. So thanks for joining in on that. TLO, the Party for Second Generation, or More Kiwis, is what TLO 65432 has got. People who actually have some respect and association to the country and the culture. Most of the foreigners I grew up with just backdoor migrated to Australia. So I'm still sipping because I'm still cold after the shower and stuff as well after this evening's training. Migrated to Australia with their families once they got the piss easy rollover NZ citizenship. They had no intention of ever wanting to befriend the actual Kiwis or contribute to the betterment of New Zealand. Okay, they only shopped at shops owned by, travelled on tours, or engaged with other foreign nationals from their specific country. There were some really cool families that actually liked NZ and built roots, but a lot didn't. Okay. So the Party for Second Generation or More Kiwis is the name of that one, and they've given some rationale there in terms of why they've chosen that. TLO is actually somebody that comments, I don't know about regularly, but does comment from time to time on my lives when I am running a live. Where are we? Hugh Robertson, the Logic, is that what that is? Lodi GC? Was it supposed to be Logic? I don't know. Logic Party, I don't hear a lot about. Okay. At PF triple Z ER. EFFITNZ. Effort for Freedom, Internal Truth, New Zealand. Okay. I just hearted these and gave them a thumbs up, those that took the time to at least drop something in. Commander Nov, still a fan of Dad's party, to be honest. It's this Nephi Lim NZ. Nephi. You must be a Latter-day Saint, eh? 2242. Peoples of Wealth, or POW for short, OWL. Peoples of Wealth, POW for short, OWL. Okay. Thanks for your time there and that suggestion. Sonia, Win the Future Party, WTF for short. WTF, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for short. 3 replies. I had a laughing face. Rubber Kiwi come back again, saying campaign slogan, WTF NZ, why would you vote for anyone else? Seriously. So yeah, those were the comments on last night's post that I put up. Let's stop sharing that. I might where's the video? Bring out the video. Oh heck, it's a couple of people on here. Rubber Kiwi, evening. Hey, evening to you. Jamie Ann King got hands and fire. Rubber Kiwi, I see National saw your post about a new political party and had to have an emergency meeting. I saw that too. Bloody rubbish, eh? The supposed coup. Well, that's on the back end of this video that I saw, which I'll look to share. It's from Stuff NZ, so I don't know how it'll go. Maybe it'll get blocked or something. I'm not sure. Where is it? There goes it. I'll share it onto ad stuff. Dun, dun. Actually, let's move this. Move it up there. Put that back there. All right. So with her now in the 3 News studio, it says, let's go full screen on that. I'm going to share the screen. And from Stuff NZ, titled Can't Organise a Coup in Their Own Caucus. Unpacking National's leadership drama, stuff.co.nz. Unable to organise a piss up in a brewery, this lot. Anyway, haven't listened to this or watched it yet, I should say, but it's only about 4.5 minutes. So let's see what this is about. Share screen. I was almost hopeful for about 30 seconds. Too good to be true. Let's go. Can't organise. Play. It looks like that's that's sharing. Play.
With me now in the 3 News studio is former 3 political editor Paddy Gower and editor of The Post, Matthew Hooton.
Actually, hopefully the audio's coming through. If it isn't, apologies, you'll have to let me know. I'll keep an eye on the comments if it's not coming through. As if it's not coming through, then it's a waste of time me playing it. Other than just showing you what it is, that's the title of it, and you can watch it yourself if you want.
Kia ora. Well, what an extraordinary run of events at the Parliament today. Matthew, let's start with you. What do you know about what's unfolded behind closed doors in the past few days to lead to this?
Well, I think the first thing to say is that when the Prime Minister said that he has the confidence of his caucus and that his caucus is united, those words were not true, and the Prime Minister knew those words not to be true. And there's a
So I haven't seen the stand-up comedy act from Potato Head Luxon after the coup was implemented. But based on what this fella's saying, Luxon's standing up and saying that he has the confidence and the support of This guy's basically sounds like he's saying that's a flat out lie. That's what it sounds like to me. Which, I mean, surely people aren't surprised by that that is that's not the truth.
Word for that I won't use. But what was interesting was that the caucus does not believe that he should be the Prime Minister or leader of the party. But there are 5.
Why bloody vote him in then? If the caucus don't believe that he should be the party, why do you keep the potato head in? Just trucking ridiculous. Unless there's nobody else able to take over, because they're probably all as useless as each other.
5 people who couldn't agree which of them should replace him. And they are the true villains if you're a National Party supporter today.
Hang on, what was that? I think because I was yapping away, I missed something, I think.
Or leader of the party. But there are 5 people who couldn't agree which of them should replace him. And they are the true villains if you're a National Party supporter today. They are Nicola Willis, Chris Bishop.
Nicola Willis, isn't she the treasurer lady? That's always banging on about finances and that sort of stuff. Nicola Willis, somebody Bishop. So there are 5 villains in this. Surely the caucus is made up of more than that, than these 5 people.
Erica Stanford, Simeon Brown, and Mark Mitchell. All of them potential leaders, all of them supposedly adults, all of them supposedly people who care about the National Party and the country, but none of them was prepared to give ground to one of the others. They couldn't agree, and each one of them said, oh, well, if I can't be Prime Minister, then Luxon can remain. And that is a shameful thing.
Far out. That's useless. How useless is that? Based on what this fella's saying, I don't know how true this is, but it sounds like these 5 people who want Potato Head out, but it sounds like none of them, not one of those 5, could get a majority vote. I guess that's how it works. And so because none of them could get a majority vote, they didn't want to vote for somebody else. It shows you how useless this National Party is. I was like, why the truck would anybody want to vote for National with this upcoming election? Like, surely people in NZ aren't going to be convinced to go voting for this blinking mob. That's crazy. Oh, sorry. Comments in here. I saw the all good one, so I just thanks for that, Rubber Kiwi. Heard it driving home from hospital, took 30 seconds and ran. Jamie Ann King, cracking up. Iron Lion, kia ora, bro. Kia ora to you. Rubber Kiwi, he's the 3rd or 4th National PM who showed up on election day. They never put up party members. Cowards. Craig May, hi Joe. Kia ora. Yep, kia ora. Hello, 2 peeps. Let's just carry on with this this video. It just sounds nuts to me. So 5 people, based on what I've heard with this fella talking about, and nobody wanted to give way to get somebody else in power. They said, "Oh well, if I can't be," based on what this guy's saying, if I can't be Prime Minister, then Luxon can stay it. That's just sack the whole bloody National Party. It's rubbish. Just scrap them all and start again.
People who are meant to be loyal members of the National Party to do.
These are the ministers that we saw assembled behind the Prime Minister during that extraordinary 76-second press conference that he held. Paddy, what did you make of that?
A 76-second press conference. I've got to have a look for that after this. Maybe I'll share it on this live. So these same treacherous, we'll call them traitors, this same treacherous lot that guy just named, which is pretty cool actually, that he named the 5 within the National Party. The solidarity that's there, not. And then they go gather around Potato Head as he speaks, I assume saying that he's got the confidence of the caucus and, well, he's still in power, isn't he? That's mad.
Look, I think this is what I would call a code blue, and that is the National Party version of a code brown.
So I'm just looking at Rubber Kiwi. Who was Luxon before he was elected? ? Wasn't in government ever before, just Air New Zealand when it went broke. Really? What was he, CEO or something for Air New Zealand? I have no idea. I've been out of the I wouldn't even call it a game for me. I've been out of the political space for more than 2 bloody decades. So is that where he was? Was he just was he an Air New Zealand employee, or was he the Air New Zealand CEO? Haven't done any homework or backgrounds on these people. I don't particularly care. Just it wasn't in government ever before, just Air New Zealand when it went broke. Well, the good thing is, though, we've created 13,000 jobs. So this is, yep, my point exactly. Same with John Key, CEOs. Wow. CEOs. Chief Egg Officers. Bloody, what a load of caca. What's wrong with New Zealand? What are we up to?
There's an old saying in politics that a house divided cannot stand and a blue house divided cannot stand. Matthew's right. They just could not get united behind one person to take him out. They basically can't organise a coup in their own caucus room.
Can't organise a coup in their own caucus room. How useless is that? And New Zealand, here I am gobbing off about Australia, saying, come on, Australia, you need to sort it out and get rid of that Labour government. Well, here we are, New Zealand. We need to get rid of this bloody useless national government. who goes in to fill the void, so to speak? Who has your vote? Who are you voting for this coming election? I might need. What I know is I'm not going to vote for national. I might need some help here in terms of who should get my vote, in conjunction with me still doing my own homework and having a look. That's mad. Why would anybody want to vote for national after seeing this bloody circus taking place? What's this? Obviously not good CEOs. They make far more than the PM's $500,000. Iron Lion, New Zealand first. Iron Lion's voting New Zealand first. Okay. Old Uncle Winston, eh? The immigration stuff. I'm not sure what else he's got in his policies and things like that. I'll have to have a look into that. Be interested to hear what people's takes are on policy itself. Anyway, let's carry on with this. There's only bloody 4.5 minutes. Here I am yapping away. I'm on the wrong screen.
And that is going to leave an incredibly, basically a fundamentally divided caucus. The MPs simply do not work together. This is their second failed coup inside a year.
What? Second failed coup inside a year? What have I missed? Have they tried to take Potato Head out before this one? So there's been 2 coups, unsuccessful attempts on, dare I say, Potato Head's power, prime ministership, and 2 failed attempts. How useless is that? Not only the party themselves unable to organise a successful takeover, excuse me, but then unfortunately New Zealand being lumped with blinking old Potato Head running things. This is crazy. Oh, some comments in here. Rubber Kiwi, not national. If Ron Marks comes back, that's my guy. Ron Mark, yeah, I've heard of him. Which party was he with, bro? I think it might have been you that mentioned before. Daniel Warren, yes. Rubber Kiwi 6 months ago. 6 months ago. Holy heck, yeah, Jamie and King's like me having a bit of a giraffe in terms of what the truck is going on with our New Zealand government. People will probably watch me on this live going, the hell, this fella doesn't know anything about what's been happening in New Zealand politics. And that would be true. Like, it's only been recent times in terms of having a look at stuff now. Definitely, I don't know if you'd call it playing catch up. I'm definitely being caught up on things. Let's play this.
And that leaves them
Inside 4 months.
Inside 4 months. Inside
Unbelievable.
Inside election. And this is their second failed coup inside a year.
Inside a year.
And that leaves them
Inside 4 months.
Inside 4 months. inside
Unbelievable.
Inside 4 months. Holy hecker. So the first fellow said inside a year, inside 12, and this guy's correcting him. I assume Chris said, no, it's been 4 months. Man, that's useless. Come on, New Zealand. We got to blink and we got to do something about it in terms of our vote and who we're voting for, and why we're voting. How useless is that? Inside 4 months, there's been 2 attempts to oust Potato Head, and both attempts have failed. Useless. He called the vote of his own confidence, Daniel Warren. He called the vote of his own confidence. I'm not sure what you mean.
Election, yeah. So unbelievable stuff. One of the great National Party shockers of all time.
So 5 names that you mentioned, there's 6 if we include Chris Pink.
Yes.
Who do you think the strongest challenger was for the leadership, and why wasn't the caucus able to?
Well, clearly nobody was the strongest to challenge the leadership because they're all as useless as each other. Hence why Potato Head's still in.
Assemble behind that one challenger?
It's all about numbers, and somebody needs to have a majority. So if you've got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and there's little pockets of people behind them and you can't coalesce around someone, it doesn't happen. But the National Party had one job to do today. If they're going to mount a coup, you've got to take them out.
I'm no blanket Einstein, right? But I would assume if you are looking to coordinate a takeover of whatever it is that you're looking to take charge of because you're not happy with the leadership, you're not happy with how things have been run, blah, 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 and you're doing it within your own party, that you would speak with the members or the vast majority of that party to get an understanding of the temperature in the room. Are they feeling the same thing? Do they feel like it's time for a change? What are their thoughts? And get an idea or a gauge of, well, who do you think we should put in place to replace Luxon in this case, or whoever the person is that they want to oust, and why? And you'd think that those basic steps would have been done in some way, shape, or form, whether they're going to do them blanking meeting at the Blue Oyster Bar or Red Tulip like what blanking Wangstein Wasty does over in Australia or whatever. You'd think that there would be some type of coordination. So just to put that into perspective, within the last 4 months, not 12 months, like that other guy said, and the other guy corrected him on the left of the screen, not only have they failed to oust the current Prime Minister twice within 4 months, they can't even coordinate and organise, it would appear, to get behind the person that's going to take over and lead their party, the National Party. So why the truck would any New Zealander be voting for National? Like, unless you're a blinking retard, why would any New Zealander vote for National when these clowns can't even organise a coup in their own bloody party? Holy heck, are these the Einsteins that are sending the NZDF, New Zealand military, off to combat in other areas? And these twats can't even blank and organise a piss up in a brewery by the sounds of things.
Cannot have one failed coup and one after that. It's simply unacceptable in politics. It needed to be what is described in politics as a clean hit. Instead, it was a messy, dirty hit, and they could well end up paying the price.
I think you said they had one job to do. One job. I mean, they've got lots of jobs to do, but in that sense and setting, they couldn't even organise or coordinate that. So why would New Zealanders trust them to run this country? I mean, if National's opening the floodgates for immigration, well, then all the immigrants, probably vast majority of the immigrants, will probably be like, yeah, let's vote for National, because they have no trucking idea what they're doing. And we can get more people in. Don't get me wrong, there have been a number of people from the immigration video that I did that have spoken from their perspective of being Indians or being immigrants, and who have chosen, they've mentioned that they don't feel that they should have the right to vote, etc., which is cool, because they genuinely are good people that come over. And there's nothing wrong with people leaving another place because they see an opportunity to create a better life for them somewhere else. Like, that's awesome. Kiwis do it, Australians do it, America, everybody does it. But I suppose it's those that do go to different places with hidden agendas, or they don't really care, or they want to change that environment. What is it? Replacement something or other, whatever it's called. People have sent it to me in the comments. I don't really know much about it. Haven't really looked into it. And people have commented saying that the replacement situation is happening right before our eyes. But this is just, I don't know, this is rubbish. Be interested to read that. Do they have comments on these videos, actually? They have there's only 2 people. Labour says, keep it up, National. You do you. They couldn't organise a piss at a brewery. Oh, there's only 2 comments. How old is this? Oh, it's only 3 hours ago. That's why. No wonder. All right, well, just
for it. New Zealand voters, it doesn't matter whether it's the left or the right. History of MMP shows us that they punish instability in election year. Fact.
So does that...
Well, we'll see. History shows that we punish instability in election year. Next minute, Blinken has a overwhelming Blinken majority victory. So before they could challenge him, he called a vote in his confidence. Then they get a vote, yes or no. Oh, okay. Is that how it works? So he got wind. Thanks for that, Daniel Warren. So he got wind that people aren't happy with him, and that they're potentially going to be making a move to get rid of him. So before they could challenge him, he called a vote in his confidence. He called the vote of his own confidence. I still don't get it. If he's calling a vote, doesn't that mean, I suppose that's what these two guys are talking about, right? They couldn't decide on who was going to lead the party, so they felt if it wasn't going to be them, then we might as well just keep Luxon in, if that's what you mean. But which party is better when they're basically all the same? Makes no difference to me who's in government. Yeah, it does, and probably can feel like that way, eh? Especially if they're plants or plans, or in our government weeds. Iron line, I have no confidence in the leftist policies. Only NZ first on the right wing. It's like choosing the lesser evil. Yeah, I think based on some of the comments that had been shared before and some of the videos, like, we're not going to get a perfect party. I'm not going to be able to identify who the perfect party is. I guess trying to choosing between the lesser of two evils, and or choosing, I don't know, the party that most closely aligns with what you see or what we see, or what you see as an individual, in terms of the direction for New Zealand to head, etc. But yeah, man, nuts. Anyway, let's carry on.
Does that mean then that after 2 attempts to change the leader of the National Party and to take out the Prime Minister, that Christopher Luxon is now untouchable, because there cannot be a round?
How could he be untouchable? It doesn't seem like he's untouchable. Oh, unless she means, what did she say? Cannot be, maybe she's about to talk about something else. Is that untouchable in terms of the National Party leadership?
Round 3, if National is going to go into this
Oh,
election
yes,
and
there
be
can be.
strong.
Yeah, there can be.
There's still time.
There should not have been a round 2. And
Shouldn't have been a round 1, because the Prime Minister...
Well, if they're going to do another round to try to oust Potato Head out of the national seat before the election, which isn't that far away here in NZ, they better blink, and they'd want to have themselves organised a lot better before they go again. I mean, 2 failed attempts in 4 months, in less than 4 months, doesn't look or sound good. And then if they are gonna do it again, who knows? Maybe they are. Maybe they will coordinate themselves better and go, okay, we'll vote for this person just to get rid of Luxon or whatever. But I think either way, whatever they choose to do, 3 rounds of attempted coup within the National Party, even if they manage to get rid of Luxon and get somebody else in, I'd like to think that New Zealand's got a couple of brain cells to rub together to go truck these blinking idiots and not vote for National. I mean, not that I've voted in the last couple of decades, as I've mentioned in other videos, but I think if I vote this year in the upcoming election, I'm definitely not voting for these twits.
should have recognised that unfortunately this job is just not for him. It has complexities which he seems incapable of navigating, and you know he's done a good job originally unifying a divided party, leading into power, but it's just...
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I've never served in politics, right? I have no idea what it must be like to serve as a Prime Minister or a Member of Parliament or even on a local council. But I've worked in some places that have got a reasonable amount of complexity to them. And some of those decisions are split seconds, and sometimes you don't have a lot of time to think things through as well as what you might like. Made a number of poor decisions, but I just think the people that go into these roles, they're not expected to be the experts in everything. Like, I don't think anybody votes for a Prime Minister or a party expecting that party leader to be the cure-all for every single issue in relation to the country in which they're in. Hence why they have other ministers who have ministerial responsibility, I assume that's the word, and who have a portfolio of things that they are responsible for overseeing and being accountable for. And then within that, those ministers will then employ people who, again, I presume have the expertise and skill and knowledge and experience and competence, whatever you want to call it, to be able to serve in those roles and do the work, to be able to actually get the work done on the ground. So when this guy's talking about that it's complex and that he should stand down, I assume he's talking about Potato Head Luxon, which is probably a good call. But I don't know that being a prime minister or even a member of parliament is that complex. Like, yes, there's some complex moving parts in terms of what they're needing to oversee and navigate, and people that they need to meet with and communicate with. Get out into the communities is also a good place where people should be. But I don't think there's anything complex about being honest about where you're at. Like, if you're unable to do the job, put up your hand and say, listen, I blinking, I got that wrong. I stuffed that up, or, take ownership of it. What's that saying? Good leaders take ownership for failures and blame others for success. And that's always resonated with me, because I've seen a lot of really good leaders do that. Blame the plebs on the ground, so to speak, for all the success and the good things that happen. And when things go wrong, that leader steps up and says, that's on me. Like, I missed that, or I dropped the ball, or whatever it is, instead of trying to distract and misdirect people and or just flat out lie with regards to the mistakes that they make, that everybody makes. And for politicians, for all the yip-yarring that they do and yelling across at each other in Parliament House and pointing fingers and throwing stones and blaming this person for that and blaming previous governments and saying we inherited this debt and we inherited this unemployment, we inherited this, that and the other, and just blaming everybody else or all their predecessors prior to, and not taking accountability and ownership on their supposed election promises that they make leading up to the elections. We're going to get the budget back into surplus, we're going to reduce our debt, the GDP, the employment, etc., etc. And then when those things don't happen, instead of just, because it's not complicated, instead of just going, we are behind the eight ball, like the employment one as an example, 170 odd thousand unemployed, 5.6%, highest it's been in 11 years, whatever the numbers are, from when I did that reaction. When they're presented with that and asked what do you have to say about that, instead he just come out with excuses, or we anticipated this, trying to front foot it and make it sound like they anticipated this increase. No, you didn't. You didn't anticipate it, because if you did, then you must be a blinking fortune teller or able to predict the future. So then if you could predict that and you anticipated that happening, then tell us what's going to happen if you get elected and make us the promises. You know what I mean? Whereas they're not making promises, they're throwing out these, I don't know, what do you call them? They're throwing out these little phrases of what's buzzing at the moment or what's trending, it seems. Maybe that's why it pops up on my feed, because things are trending. And then they look to weave that into their corridor around, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and this is how we intend to do it. Next minute, they're held to account on it and going, well, actually, it's worse than it's ever been in 11 years. And instead of just owning that kaka and saying, we got it wrong, we are failing in that area, we've identified, or we're currently, just tell the truth. We've failed in that area right now. We understand that. We are doing everything that we can to try to identify where and how and why this has been the case, when we anticipated, based on what we thought would happen, we anticipated to be here by this stage, and we're not there. We've put us in the worst state than we've ever been. None of them do that. So to me, that's not complex. That's just blinking being accountable, taking ownership for the stuff that you have done and or have not done, delivered and or not delivered. Anyway, that's my rant anyway, if that makes sense. Oh, sorry. What's this? Especially, I have no confidence, and I read that. DMC, Dwayne Warren, basically he went to Rotorua and pissed off small business owners at a meeting. by talk down to them, he had to say sorry. No, did he? Has he? Is there a video of him saying sorry? Is there? Wow, that must be like a rare treasure. seeing the Prime Minister say sorry to small business owners. If he did, 10:30 on an unannounced live and 12 people in the chat according to my feed. Oh, to Meke, bro. Is that right? 12. If there's 12 people on this feed, thank you. I've got. Oh no, I've got. Well, maybe somebody's dropped off, or unless my thing's not right. But I don't. My one's showing 11. Rubber kiwi. They're soft. Okay, same as the last lot that made us promise, and the lot before them, and the lot before them. The lot. Not enough characters available for all the before thems. I align 100% for the truth. Accountability is honourable. Yeah, and I think people would. Well, that's just my take. I think people would respect and acknowledge a leader, political leader, more if they just told the truth and said, "Hey, we've stuffed this up, Lincoln. We are doing our best." Like like Neil Barnes and the All Blacks. That fella's blinking crack up, dry humour. I don't know the man, obviously, but when he speaks, he's just himself. As he's authentic. What was it? There was an interview I saw recently, and they said something about something to do with maybe pay or getting paid to do the job that he's doing. And his reply, I'll butcher it, but it's there on YouTube somewhere, as it popped up on my feed. He said, "Yeah, tell you what," words to the effect of, "Yeah, tell you what, my back is hurting from all the coin we're making, or from all the coin I'm making." It was just like a hard case, made me crack up. Lucky I wasn't drinking anything. I probably would have sprayed my laptop otherwise. But he just seems very down to earth. Imagine somebody like that being Prime Minister. Blanking heck, he'd pull no punches with anyone, and he would, I think, and you look at him, not trying to coax them into being Prime Minister, but just look at people and go, man, there's an honest guy. Like they should be getting paid well in the All Blacks, as far as I'm concerned. I think politicians maybe should expect to get a decent wage, but if you've got everything else covered, and I've spoken about that in other lives, if you've got your fuel covered, if you've got all your travel and accommodation and expenses covered, I don't know that you need to have a $500,000 salary, like or $200 million, $500,000, 200 million, 200,000 or 300,000 base salary. It just, I don't know. It seems like that money, a large amount of that money, could be put to so much more use in other parts of the economy and for other parts of our people in this country as a whole. Give them $100,000. Okay, say there's your base salary, your fuel, and that's covered because you've got a work car, and or if they haven't got a work car, they've got a fuel card. They've typically got a work car, probably got a driver if he's the Prime Minister, probably got a credit card for expenses, and yeah, like I think that's enough. But if you're there to do the work and you are employing other people and you've got other ministers that can oversee, that are doing all these other jobs, I can't personally see the rationale or the justification for $500,000 salary. But anyway, that's my rant, and that's part of us. That's part of me and us here solving the New Zealand's political problems here from this YouTube channel. Let's get back to this. Bloody hell, this hasn't even finished yet, and I've been yapping on for it's nearly 40 minutes. This video was only 4 minutes 27 seconds, and
it's just not for him, this job, and he should.
I'm been yapping away too much. He's talking about Luxon. This job is just not for him.
Originally unifying a divided party, leading into power, but it's just not for him, this job, and he should have recognised that.
So this has not drawn a line under it in either of your views?
No, it'll make it worse. They'll have.
Well, if it hasn't made it worse already, then New Zealand needs to blink and open their eyeballs. And if we don't open our eyeballs and we vote for National again, well, then we deserve what we get. If the same people that are worried about all the immigration stuff and all these other, like the homeless situations and cost of living and all of this sort of thing, like if we are truly up in arms and had enough of it, and then we go and vote for National again, or they get into power again, well, then we might as well just stand out on the roads, line up opposite each other, and just kick each other in the nuts. Just, here you go, have another 3 years of it or whatever. Crazy.
Hate each other more than ever before. I mean, I've seen this sort of thing myself. David Cunliffe campaigning for the Labour Party when half of the caucus hates him. They either will just let Christopher Luxon do the same thing, which is go there and lose, and then everyone will blame each other afterwards.
This guy must be a fortune teller. He probably is telling the truth. Everybody will blame each other afterwards. They'll blame the poor leadership, the weak leadership. You blame the whole party. That whole party sounds like they got piss weak leaders. And they couldn't organise twice in 4 months. Are you kidding me? And if they do this a third time, whoever is the sacrificial lamb that happens to become the national party face of that party is likely going to suffer a miserable defeat in the election anyway, because hopefully, like I said, hopefully New Zealanders have got at least a couple of brain cells to rub together, myself included, to go, yeah, nah, I'm not voting for National Puzzy.
But they won't get in behind him. They are divided. If there is an opportunity to take him out again, if the polls go down, and they could do that, you've got to remember, at the moment, the polls show Christopher Luxon able to win this election. So, he...
Check that out. The poll, I haven't seen the poll, but the poll shows Christopher Luxon able to win this upcoming election. Well, line up and get ready to kick each other in the nuts, people. If we're saying we've had a gutful of it, but then we're voting in Lincoln Potato Head again. Excuse me. Well, we get what we get.
He could have got there without this. If the polls go down, they may well have another crack. It is not stable.
Okay, Paddy Gower and Matthew Hooton, thank you so much for your thoughts today. Really appreciate your time.
Paddy Gower and Matthew Hooton. That guy, Paddy Gower, on the right, as I look at him, doesn't he host his own show? I don't know the other guy though, Matthew Hooton, or sorry if I got his name wrong. But a couple of guys there brought in to give their take. I presume based on probably their years of experience following politics and that sort of stuff, and speaking the truth from what it sounds like. Imagine that. Imagine having politicians. Let's stop that. Imagine having politicians in government, anywhere, New Zealand included, whereby the people in charge told the truth. Or we're just honest. Wouldn't that be a novelty? Wouldn't that be a nice change? That's crazy. Yeah, nuts. Anyway, what have we got here? Robert Kiwi, better question. When's the last time one followed through on an election promise? Not excuses, not unforeseen problems, just I said I would, so I did. Great question. I don't know. I'd like to know if people do know the answer to that. Great question. When is the last time a party or a party leader who was campaigning for things actually followed through? So let's say New Zealand First gets in. Is Uncle Winston gonna actually follow through? Has he spoken about anticipating potential obstacles which may prevent his push for citizens only, New Zealand citizens only, being able to vote? Or is that going to be one of those? Is that sort of what they do to hedge their bets? Or we won't flat out promise it. We'll hedge our bets and we'll leave certain things out of our corridor so that we can say, oh, this unforeseen thing, like what Robert Kiwi was talking about, can be their backstop, so to speak. It's crazy. Personally, this stream is something I've been looking for years, just hanging out with the bro talking crap and occasionally finding gold. Probably more so just talking crap. But thank you for that, Rubber Kiwi. I appreciate it. I know where you're coming from, especially the talking crap part. Rubber Kiwi, who took the poll and who did they vote for last time? What's this? Iron Line. It's a comfort to be amongst non-biased minds who value critical thinking and sanity. Well, happiness too. I think people just want to find that, be able to contribute positively, be happy in and of themselves and the work and the mahi that they do, whatever that is. If you're a labourer and doing what you're doing, if you're a professional and doing what you're doing, if you've studied to get to the stage of what you want to be able to do and whatever that is, then awesome. Yeah, that happiness is a big part. And don't get me wrong, like having a chat, like reading, seeing that there's actually comments on here. What's the bloody time? It was after 10 when I started anyway. Apologies, just trying to hit nearly 11 o'clock. Again, typically probably my own fault for doing training so late this evening. And then, when you just feel like there's blood flowing through your body, would have been nice if it was keeping me warmer, but it's not keeping me as warm as I would have liked. And so I got a t-shirt and two hoodies on to try to keep me warm. And these headphones actually help keep my ears a little bit warmer too, pressing against the side of my big ears that were getting cold. But yeah, it's cool for me too that people take any time to stop by here and have a chat, help me solve New Zealand's political problems here from my armchair. Daniel Warren, I find it quite interesting listening to your point of view with your background. You guys don't suffer fools and see straight through the BS. Thanks for that, Daniel. Yeah, I think a lot of, and to your point, to your comment, a lot of my thoughts do stem, like my mind is cast back fairly regularly to those O groups, we'll call them, and all those conversations where if you are an SHIT at your job or you're being an SHIT CUNT, then you just get called out for it. Or if you're a Jack CUNT as well, somebody that just looks out for themselves and isn't doing right by the team first, then again you get called out for it. And so for me, I think there's, as I look at politics through my small view that I have of politics, and really it's only been recent times looking into it at this stage, or recently I should say, I see some similarities in there from the perspective of I'm surprised that the leaders in the political space don't appear to have the best interests of their people at heart, and they don't seem to have the spine to take ownership for when they do things wrong. It's like I don't know where they went to school or what they learnt in their degrees, but seems like they've been taught that the best way, to me from my perspective, that the best way for them to succeed, and maybe it's true, maybe that's why they are in the positions that they're in, but it seems like that they're taught the best way for them to succeed, to get into positions of power, is to lie and or to distract and or to not accept responsibility or fault when crap goes wrong and they're the person in charge at the time. And that's mind-blowing to me, because they all seem to do it. And I like to think that the vast majority of people here in New Zealand or in any country can see that, but we don't seem to do anything about it. Like we just keep voting for the same people, or I know people that vote for whoever their friends are voting for, or whoever their family member tells them to vote for. And that's, it's all well and good if that's what they want to do. But I just think to myself, nobody's telling me who to vote for. Like if I vote, I'm going to vote and do some homework. What I know is I'm not voting for National. So I don't know and can't say wholeheartedly who I'm going to vote for in this upcoming election. But I have also said that I don't know if I will put in a vote this election, just because, again, I understand and acknowledge I need to put in some of my own Blinken homework, let's call it, and do my own Blinken rangahu and research into who and why would I be casting my vote for these people. Be good if you could just either have no confidence or just vote for yourself, eh? Imagine that, the whole country, we'd all just vote for ourselves. And then just be able to govern ourselves. This is, I just am disappointed. Oh, actually, that's what I was going to look for. Where's that bloody Luxon spiel? Apparently, Luxon addresses I don't know if that's what it's called. I'm just going to addresses the coup. Speaks after National Party meeting. Here we go. This 14 minutes. Nah, it bloody took me nearly an hour just to get through 4.5 minutes. I'm not going to go to a 14-minute Blinken video. Isn't there a short one? Luxon survives confidence vote with full support caucus. Oh, here we go. This looks like a short clip. Let's just review. How long was that? There we go. That's better. It's like 1:22. Let's share the screen. I'm not doing a bloody 14-minute video. Is that Luxon survives? Well, listen to this. Play. Play.
As you know, this is an absolutely pivotal election with some very, very serious issues at stake for New Zealand.
And is the lady in the background there, is it one of the ladies that was named by those two guys on the video that we just watched? She looks stoked.
New Zealand. We think we have made tremendous progress as a government, rebuilding economic growth, financial discipline, restoring law and order, and certainly strengthening education and health.
What a crock of SHIT. Let's just hear that list again.
Progress as a government, rebuilding economic growth.
Rebuilding economic growth. How and where? What does our economic growth look like?
Financial discipline.
Financial discipline? I'd love to see what the numbers are in the spend. Bro, you organised, or authorised, I should say, for Shane Jones, who was originally authorised for $33,000 for a trip from Aotearoa to Canada, Toronto, to attend a seminar or whatever it was, for $33,000. He spent 64 grand for 3 days or whatever it was, and then you signed off on it. That doesn't sound like very good spending or allocation of taxpayers' money to fund a blinking holiday in a hotel private driver when the bloody fat guts could walk from his hotel to the bloody point where the blinking conference apparently took place. What a crock of rubbish.
Restoring law and order, and certainly
restoring law and order. What the hell? Doing, what is it, youth boot camps, I don't think restores law and order. Restoring law and order in terms of a whole bunch of stuff that's been happening. I don't want to sit here and rattle on about it too much with regards to, let's say, the challenges that the police department's facing. Why? Because I have a lot of respect for police in general, and a few bad eggs within the workforce in blue, so to speak, to me shouldn't brand the whole of the police force in the same light for the actions of a few blinking mixed scumbags within that organization. There are dirtbags in every organization. So unfortunate that an organization like the police, which is supposed to be looking after our communities, has that in there. But yeah, anyway.
Strengthening education and healthcare. But we also acknowledge that we have a lot more to do. Our plan to fix the base.
Too right, you got a lot more to do. I think that's what I need to look into. I want to have a look into what the current policies are on healthcare, on education, on criminal activity. Where are these stats? Where do they come from? Like, how do they know that they've reduced the criminal rates, the spend? Is that stuff just Freedom of Information Act to get access to? Probably interweb stuff, like just simple Google search, I assume, to look up some of those things. But spending, ministers and the money that's been spent on travel and accommodation and things like that, you must be able to get access to that information somewhere, somehow, to see what people are spending. Like, that's a bigger job than what I'm going to delve right into. But I mean, just sort of high level reference points to be able to look at it and go, oh yeah, that's what they're saying, that's what their policy is on immigration, that's where they stand when it comes to voting rights and citizenship versus permanent residency, that's where they stand in terms of defence spending and what they're prioritising spending their money on. Like, just some of the, like a high level overview. I'd be interested to see what their priorities are and what they're spending money on. It's a shame. Maybe I do need to go to the 14-minute one and have a look, because it shows a long form video and it's a wider field of view to see who else is standing behind Luxon. And then just to think, this guy is speaking after his own party have tried to oust him twice in less than 4 months. It must feel, what's the term, toxic environment? That must be an apt description for what it must be like in the National Party right now.
And to build the future is a positive plan, a very positive plan to help New Zealand realise the innate potential that it has.
New Zealand doesn't need you.
So let's start at the beginning. Tell me a little bit about where you grew up.
As you know, this
is
an
childhood like.
So I grew up in a little ranching and farming community in West Texas called
What's going on here?
Brackenville,
Can
Texas.
people hear that?
I think
there it is, yeah.
population was around
How did
800
that
when I
pop
was
up?
there. They may have,
Black
they
Hawk
may be
Down.
close to.
Oh, that would have been something that I was watching before. Anyway, that's on my watch to watch later list reaction. That guy Hoot from the movie Black Hawk Down, played by Banner. No, not Banner. What's his name? The Australian actor, anyway. I saw that video show up on my feed and I clicked on it, and I'm pretty sure I've added it to watch later so I can do a reaction to it later, where he's talking about what really happened in Somalia and Mogadishu. Anyway, that's random. That just started coming through my headset in here, which I assume is going on to here. Let's go. Did this just start again?
Certainly pivotal election with some very, very serious issues at stake for New Zealand. We think we have made tremendous progress as a government, rebuilding economic growth, financial discipline.
Sorry, it did start again after that happened.
Restoring law and order, and certainly strengthening education and healthcare. But we also acknowledge that we have a lot more to do. Our plan to fix the basics and to build the future is a positive plan, a very positive plan.
Even this guy over here with the glasses doesn't look very happy. Like, what was I talking about? The wider screen shot in terms of seeing this divided National Party standing behind old Potato Head here just must be thinking to themselves, we are so useless. We have to pretend to show a united front to New Zealanders, even though we just tried to and failed a second time to get rid of this guy. How does he feel? Like, you must have some bloody hell, need pigskin, eh? I'm going to say it. It does look like he's got pretty thick pigskin on him as I look at him. Like, just saying. But you must have to have very, very thick skin to stand at the front of a group that you know has literally got knives out behind your back. Like, who would want to stay? Who and how and why would you want to stay in an environment where the people within your own supposed party, your united party, are literally vying to get you kicked out of the position that you're in? It's crazy to me. Just look at him, stands there though. So I suppose credit to him for that, but that's rubbish.
Plan to help New Zealand realise the innate potential that it has. There was a confidence vote in my leadership this morning at our caucus meeting, and I have the full support of our caucus.
Maybe it's just where I paused it. This fella's face here, what's his name? Mitchell? Mike Mitchell or something like that. This lady. No, I don't think she's the treasurer lady. I think she must be somebody else. Look at those faces. Those faces show, yes, we are with you, leader. What do we got here? Sorry. Rubber Kiwi. Oh, hang on. Where are we? Holy heck, I missed a few. Rubber Kiwi. Oh, yeah, that was in a speech told us about the booming economy and great future they were building. When the dog's got a hunt, you let the dog hunt. BS gets you dead in your line of work. Yeah, unlike the army where everyone starts on the same level, these people were never on our level. They believe they're above us. Yeah, and that's probably a fair point, eh? Maybe that's where it stems from, the naivety of these people thinking that they are above, but manages to they must, the gift of the gab that they must have enables them to get into positions of power. Whether we like it or not, it seems, Rubber Kiwi, the system was built for at least 113,000 less people. Are you really surprised the thing stretched so tight it could break any minute? It's crazy, eh? I know your mental toughness is a minority in this nation. Most can't speak from your point of view because when they're tired, you're just warmed up. Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment. Cheers, Iron Line. Daniel Warren, IRD can look into your bank and see what you buy and how much you have in your accounts and take whatever they want. Yeah, that's what I assume, right? Like they can see where your money goes. They know what's coming in. That's why I'm still quite surprised that people are able to get away. Like the House of Shem, the two boys, the sons of the dad who passed away. I can't remember how long ago he passed away, but the artists, House of Shem, the singers, musical artists, they got done recently for having extra benefits or whatever come through to their accounts over several years. And it's like, how does that happen? How, with the checks and balances and crossing the T's and dotting the I's with AI these days, maybe that's all part of the big plan with the data service centers and all that sort of stuff, and AI integrating into all of that and trying to make it more efficient. Who knows? You can go down a bit of a rabbit hole and start talking about that sort of stuff. But to your point, like IRD and them having the means to be able to see where your money's going, what you're spending it on, where your income's coming in from, etc. If there's any red flags, why don't they just audit people? I've been audited twice while I was in Australia when I was doing private security. I can, I knew, I knew very early I was not about to try to do non-residency. I wasn't about to try to pretend that my wife and I were divorced or separated. I wasn't about to do the live out of country for X amount of days and then come back and then have all these offshore accounts, etc. I was like, bro, the ATO, they got way more money than me and much smarter people than me when it comes to doing that stuff. So I'm going to go and work. I'm going to try and make hay while the sun is shining and do what I can for my family and I to get as much ahead as we can. But I'm going to declare everything, which is what I did. And I still got audited. So it's just, strange to me. Like it's a valid comment, I think, when you're saying that they can see where the money goes and what it's been spent on. How people somehow slip through the cracks with regards to what seems like fraud that people may be doing. It's just, seems strange to me. But those House of Shem brothers, I think they're only paying back $20 a week after however many. I think one was a little over 100,000 or something like that. The other one was about 80 grand overpayments. They pay back at $20 a week. That's pretty fair and reasonable, I think. maybe it's worth it to be dodgy. And obviously, it is for some people. Get what, $200,000, $200,000 overpayments, and then what? I only need to pay back $20 a week. People be like rubbing their hands together, going, "Sign me up, cuz." Where's that form I need to fill out? I'm not sure. I don't think it's something I would want to do because you don't want to have that on your record and things like that. But anyway, I guess some people do take that option. That's why my money is in my pocket or in my drawer. If them, come and get it. Cash scares most retailers now. It's funny as hell. Okay, so anyway, let's listen to what this bald twat has to say.
And our caucus is united and it is determined to win this election.
Wow, look at that, just flat out lies, eh? That must be what they're taught. Maybe it's part of the MBA. They get more bad advice. Maybe that's part of the MBA qualifications that they get, to just flat out lie to people and think that they don't know.
Our focus is on National's positive plan to fix the basics and to build the future so that we realise the incredible potential that sits in this country and that we set it up for our kids and our grandkids so they can do better than we can.
Far out, you set it up for your kids and your grandkids, eh? I don't get the sense or the feeling that that's what he's setting the country up for, personally. I don't get the sense or feeling that Luxon and or National Party is looking or genuinely interested in setting up this country for our kids, he says, and our grandkids. Doesn't feel like that to me.
It's also an opportunity to frame the choice for voters, which is crystal clear on November the 7th.
Which is crystal clear for voters on November the 7th. Well, I tell you what, it's crystal clear for me. I can't speak for the other voters. Maybe some of the voters on here have played their hand and shown that it's pretty crystal clear for them as well. But I am going to laugh if National is voted in again. I definitely will have to do a video to that. And go, welcome back, where we tried to solve New Zealand's political issues and governments and get the right people in. We failed. Aotearoa. That's what that title of that video will be.
An opposition that wants to take New Zealand backwards, or a national government that wants to fix the basics. And
look at that, he still can't help himself, even in the face of what has just happened to him and his party, people wanting to oust him for the second time in 4 months. He still can't help but throw stones and have a dig at the opposition. the opposition that wants to take this country backwards and try to frame and position himself in the National Party as the shining light of hope and happiness, to get this country on track, to end the unemployment or reduce the unemployment rate, to get people into safe, secure, healthy homes and not living out on the street. Just, it's ridiculous to me, man. Like, these people are retards. And I would say New Zealand are going to be largely retards if we vote for National Party into power again.
And build the future and of a plan that takes New Zealand forward. With that, I want to say thanks, everyone. We're going back to work and we're moving on. Thank you very much.
Are you going to merge with cabinet of the agitators? Are you going to get rid of the agitators?
Quick, run. Not going to answer any questions. We're going to go back to work. Holy heck. What a crock of rubbish. I don't know. People want to vote for that. What are you? I don't know that is there still people on here? Oh yeah, it's showing that I've got 12 people on here. Holy heck. Well, there's 12 people on here. I don't know where you're from. Some of you are obviously from here in NZ. Appreciate you being here. What are your fellas' thoughts? What would people do? I think I've heard the one in terms of voting. The one that I've heard, the majority of the comment that's come through, for those that have actually taken the time to put down the comments from people that are of Indian descent that have commented on the videos, people that are of non-Indian descent. The vast majority, actually, I'm trying to think if I saw anyone. I don't think I saw any comments on the video that didn't support citizens only voting. And this was even from those that have self-professed or proclaimed that they are permanent residents, and that by choice they choose to not vote because they don't think that they should have that opportunity to vote, not being a citizen in the country. And I think, man, that's pretty cool. Like, for those individuals, whether or not that's actually what they're doing, I don't know. But if they've taken the time to type that sort of stuff down in the comments on the video that I did, then I assume, I take people at what they've put down on their words there. Some people are just blinking retards, but they're good for the algorithm. So I let them know, hey, I didn't realize how much of a twat you actually were until I read more of your dribble, but you're good for the algorithm, so keep coming back. So, and there have been a couple that do keep coming back. And it makes me laugh. I even saw Hammerhead27 have a bit of a laugh at some of those comments too, because they're just going off on a tangent about a whole bunch of just random SHIT, which is hard case. But it must be helping the algorithm somehow, because I noticed some of my subscriber numbers went up a little bit. So anyway, coming back to what question was I asking? I was asking something to do, policies and that sort of stuff. Like, what? I'd be interested to know what people's position are on the voting, like that one there. The comments, I don't think I saw any. Like I said, they didn't say citizens only should vote. How long should it take for people to be deemed a citizen? 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? What do you think? Maybe these are questions that I'll put as polls on my Blinken YouTube posts. 5 years, 7 years, 10 years before you should then be allowed to vote. Given that, if you're born and raised in NZ and you live here, if you live here for your entire life or most of your life, you've got to wait until you're 18 years of age before you can vote anyway, from what I understand. I think that's right. People can correct me, those that might know more, if I'm wrong. But if it takes 18 years for somebody born here before they can vote, then why should an adult who comes from another country come over and be allowed to vote in and after 12 months? Anyway, that's my initial thought. IRD, that's what money, cash, I read that, definitely. I compliment, bro. It's the truth. Thank you for that. Yeah, appreciate it. Acknowledged, received with gratitude. Thank you for that, Iron Lion. Rubber Kiwi, I've never understood why anyone would support either party. I've experienced most of 47 years. David Lang was pretty funny. Other than that, none of them have ever done anything for the whole country. That's a great question. 18 years for me. Daniel Warren, Rubber Kiwi, special, so 18 years before people being able to vote. Cool, okay. Rubber Kiwi, special groups like iwi, Auckland, immigrants, etc. Never anything that benefited everyone. Yeah, yep. Okay, I hear what you're saying, Rubber Kiwi, in terms of, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been here for that whole time. 20 years of my life I spent over in Australia, so I can't speak to that. But I wouldn't be surprised based on what you've said there. I also think realistically that regardless of whoever is in the position of power as a prime minister, president, whatever people call them in their countries, but here prime minister for us, I do honestly believe and think that it would be damn near impossible to ever satisfy, please, or do something for the whole country. I think there's always going to be, always, just as there are always haters in every and in any field, there's always going to be people, whether it's individuals, whether it's groups of individuals, whether it's pockets or organizations or whatever, that are just going to not be happy and feel like for all the good that somebody does and may do, and maybe National's done a whole bunch of good, I don't know, for other parts or groups like you've shared. But clearly there's a lot of people, probably myself included, who feel like there isn't that much good being done. And it's only been made worse by the current National Party. So time will tell for them, and we'll see what happens if they have their reckoning come, what do you say, November 7th or whatever it is. Online, it's not read that. Commander Nov, pretty sure non-citizens can't vote in Australia. That's awesome if that's the case, Commander Nov. Not sure why it's different in NZ. Yeah, New Zealand's got different legislation currently with regards to voting rights. So you can be a permanent resident if you've been a permanent resident for 12 months or more for a continuous period of time. And I think what I read on that electoral roll or enrolment thing in NZ, as long as you've been a permanent resident at any time for 12 months continuously, you can vote in NZ in the elections. And or if you have a visa that you've been on that visa again for 12 months or more, and that visa doesn't have an expiry date of when you have to leave the country, they can also vote. So yeah, pretty rubbish is the word that comes to mind. Whoever came up with that idea in terms of allowing non-citizens to vote, yeah, I don't know. They're probably not alive right now, and I don't know why that decision would have been made. AKA only citizens can vote in Oz. Yeah, that's great. That's how it should be. I think, Commander Nov, I would have thought that that's how it should be everywhere, regardless of the country, but that's not the way it is, unfortunately, here in NZ. Fix the roads. Fix the roads. It's not that hard. I think I saw something from Big Chocky over in Australia recently in Victoria about the like all the blanking corruption and scandals and the billions of dollars that have just blown up on the different projects that were there, the CFMEU, etc. But there was something about potholes in Australia, and there was a lady that Chocky was reacting to, I think a member of parliament. She had the audacity to stand up in there saying that the people in the area don't really care about the pothole. They probably enjoy the potholes or something like that. And then Big Chocky just went off and started slating her on his on his Instagram feed. I actually quite like listening to him. He's he just runs it straight. Like there's a person, again, probably would have no filter. Like I guess that's the other thing that I'm thinking about. Is one of the prerequisites to be a prime minister is to have no common sense. That seems like another prerequisite. Like maybe they got brains, but brains in other areas, but just no pragmatism or common sense approach to stuff, like what Commander Nov has shared. Why the truck would you have non-citizens of your country able to vote in your federal elections or your referendums in relation to policies and things that are going to affect the people of that country? Everybody. It will affect, don't get me wrong, it will affect permanent residents, it will affect people that are coming over on visas, etc. Yes, but ultimately, some of those permanent residents and or people on visas may not be coming here to stay, to assimilate, to become part of New Zealand and identify as a Kiwi or whatever. They may just be coming here as a stepping stone to then go to Australia or to go to another country. Or they may just be here to implement their evil ways, whatever those things are. Just that seems like such a common sense thing. Oh, we're running a vote. Oh, who can vote? What do you mean who can vote? Citizens of this country can vote. Oh, what about permanent residents and those on visas, but they don't have an expiry date? Shouldn't they get to vote too? Because the decisions could still affect them or they live here. Yeah, but who's to say that they're going to live here forever? If they've only been here 12 months, who's to say they're still going to be here after the election in another 12 months' time or 5 years' time or 10 years' time? Our citizens have been here for generations. So it should be the citizens that are voting and or those that have earned the opportunity and or the right to vote. And that right is they have to have lived here and be doing things within the community and assimilating into the country, into the culture, etc., etc. The values, whatever the government decides to put on it in terms of what they need to prove, be able to speak fluent English, read, write, and speak fluent English. I'll probably need to get a retest for that. But anyway, you know what I mean? And be here for at least, thinking 10 years. And if they meet all that criteria, been here for 10 years, they read English well, they speak English well, they write English well, etc., then they can be considered for citizenship and go through any other final checks and balances that might need to be done. And then get the final handshake, you're now a citizen, ceremony, swearing in, etc. They sing the national anthem, they do the haka. No, not necessarily the haka, but you never know. But national anthem at least. And then they're citizens. Now you can vote. Not the way it currently is, just seems a bit of a shambles. I agree with 18 years. I think I read that. 18, if you're old enough to go to war, you're old enough to have a beer and have a say. Yep, I agree with that. I worked for Fulton Hogan years ago. They had a budget they had to spend every year. Oh yeah, don't get me started on budgets. Never needed to, but spent it anyway. Yeah, our money, we're talking tens of hundreds of millions. Fiscal responsibility, huh? Yeah. There's places and lots of organizations, dare I say all organizations have that sort of thing. You get allocated a budget, and the challenges with those that have worked in those environments and worked in those positions, you've got to start trying to forecast and work out what your expected budget spend is going to be, including like the professional development of staff, the salaries and wages, the potential increase, all those sorts of things, resources, travel, and you're trying to work all of that out. And obviously you're trying to be, if you're in the position of managing that and the P&L, and you've got responsibility to report on that each month and work with the accountants for the organizations and that sort of thing, or the organization that you're part of, and they're looking at those and you're looking at it closely, you're trying to be as frugal with that as you can, depending on what your budget is. And then if it's nearing the end of that year and you've still got an excess surplus, then typically, or at least in the positions that I've been in, we would look to use that, or I would look to use that for professional development for the staff, look to get other equipment in that could potentially make the jobs easier. So if that meant we get updated first aid equipment for the people running the first aid courses, or we get updated pieces of equipment to make the job safer, easier, better, whether it's harnesses, better pieces of equipment, or rappelling devices or ascending devices, etc., from a training and assessing perspective, or whether it's professional development in terms of training and assessing and or education, further education courses for your staff to help upskill them with no strings attached, like, oh, if I put you on this $3,000 course, you have to stay here and work for us for another 12 months or whatever. I don't think you should need to do that if you're doing them for the right reasons and you're looking after your people. And I think, good things can happen. Some people might think differently, but yeah, those budgets can be a bit of a rabbit warren to potentially navigate at certain times of the year, where you then have to find yourself tightening the purse strings at different times, and then looking to loosen the purse strings as and when you might be able to. I can't speak for what was happening with the Fulton Hogan spend in tens to hundreds of millions. I definitely haven't worked with budgets that high. A few million, yes, but not tens or hundreds of millions. But yeah, be interested to know what it was used on or how it was spent. Just out of curiosity. Daniel Warren, in 1980, we had less than 500 immigrants. In the last 3 years, we had over 520,000. In the last 3 years, holy heck. So migrants can definitely change the vote here, and we'll probably see an Indian party soon. I would not be surprised, Daniel Warren. That's a very interesting statistic. 500 immigrants in 1980. or less than 1980. We had less than. I think a few people commented on my video as well about like it wasn't common to see Indians during their time. This was coming from an Indian who was proud of their heritage, but they were also proud to call themselves a Kiwi, and they called themselves a Kiwi Indian. But that person's currently, one of them is currently living in Australia doing an engineering degree at the moment, but they say they're looking forward to coming back to NZ, or back home to NZ as they described it. 520,000 over, in the last 3 years, we had over 520,000. Indian party here, wouldn't be surprised. That's just the Southern Otago region, by the way. PT belts. The F even is that neon yellow over DPMs. Fantastic idea. Even as neon yellow over DPMs. Fantastic idea. Not sure. I'm probably missing something over the uniform. If you're talking about disruptive pattern material or the DPMs, PT belts, the truck even is that neon yellow. Neon yellow. What's that for? Over your uniform. Fantastic idea. Rubber Kiwi. Queenstown Airport was the big money spinner back then. Queenstown, yeah, popular holiday touristy destination, probably still is to this day. I wouldn't know for sure. Some people that have spoken in some of my, or commented in some of my videos, have not been very happy with the way things are in Queenstown from what I've read. Not that I've been down. Last time I was down there was in 2018 on a holiday with our family when we were still living in Perth. Online, when foreigners come here with the intention to stay, the obvious question is why they left their nation, for what reasons. Yeah, and I think a lot of people, or I assume a lot of people leave to come to places like New Zealand or Australia for the better lifestyle. Better lifestyle, matter of perspective, eh? But in comparison to some countries, or a lot of countries, I can understand the appeal for some of those nations, like people coming from India, people coming from the islands, Indonesia and stuff. Probably even to a degree, obviously China and that as well. But we've got all sorts here. But yeah, I guess everybody's got their own reasons, and it's hard to, dare I say, impossible to answer that question in terms of everybody. But it is a good question to ask, I think, as part of, if we're talking about like people wanting to immigrate and having those conversations with our immigration people, if that's the right term, to get an understanding of the individuals and their backgrounds and why they've come over, etc. Probably similar to, probably a bit hard to do on international flights and holding everybody up trying to just come through. Hence why, if they're just over here on a holiday and they've got nothing to suggest that they have got any intentions of being illegal overstayers, like try to do as many checks and balances as you can, but then let people come through. Whether or not people choose to leave when they should after is another situation altogether. And I guess each country is battling their own issues with people potentially overstaying. Not saying that that's what you were talking about though. And in regards to your comment there, was it Iron Line, when foreigners come? But yeah, good questions though. Rubber Kiwi, runaways aren't cheap, especially when you replace them every 3 months. Yeah, the safety sash. Oh yeah, okay, the high-vis safety blinking thing. One benefit we have, unlike countries with illegals, we at least know who most of these people were yesterday. Interesting. One benefit we have, unlike countries with illegals, we at least know who most of these people were yesterday. Yeah, do you reckon that's still the case now? Just with, I think New Zealand has been we've been really blessed here from the perspective of obviously the tragedy in Christchurch with the shootings at the mosque, which was done by whatever that clown's face is, or whatever his name is, but by a white fella. From what I can tell, like, are we just like how? And again, I don't know, but I do wonder and do have a concern that it's just a matter of time before something happens here in little old NZ. Maybe we have our own, Bondi shooting or something like that. Dare I say, thank in heaven forbid, suicide bombings and that sort of stuff, or something of that sort. It's pretty easy to go around and collect the ingredients, for want of a better term, to make homemade stuff. And not that I'm not advocating for that at all in any way, shape, or form. Just as it is easy for people to, if they want to, make homemade weapons, illegal weapons. And it's just, yeah. So to your question, just has me thinking: do we still feel like that we know who these people? That we at least know who these people were yesterday? I think is what you've got. We at least know who most of these people were yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And what's our, apart from spying over in Russia, what's our secret intelligence service doing? Was it ASIO equivalent, Australia's Secret Intelligence Organization equivalent, NZSIS? Yeah, what's this? They still go through the same immigration vetting security checks. At least I hope so. Yeah, I hope so too. The disappointing thing, I guess, for it is that, like the father and son, that dumb Namak duo over in Bondi, they were on the radars, they were on the lists, and old dad still got issued firearms licenses. It's just, yeah, crazy. Yeah, anyway, I don't have the answers for all that. Little old New Zealand, we're pretty isolated from a lot of stuff, dare I say sheltered from a lot of stuff, that maybe is potentially easier to implement in places like Europe because of the multiple borders in which they are a part of. And yeah, it's just, you hope none of that sort of stuff happens here, but you also hope that if stuff like that does happen here, that a common sense approach is adopted to it, and if need be, a hard position and stance is taken to it. Like I've seen a clip pop up of Pauline Hanson putting in, which she put up for debate, to decline the return of terrorists back to the country, and it got rejected, got declined there in Australia. No surprises there. Labor and probably Liberals are probably going to vote against that because, probably just because, who knows what's going on over there. But again, the practical common sense approach to a lot of stuff, I don't know, seems like that must be a part that has to be taken out of a person's brain in order to go and serve in a place like government. What's this? Barbecue. I can do that with the stuff in my kitchen. No nukes, but we'll do some damage. Yeah. And it doesn't take a heck of a lot. People can. You don't have to go onto the dark web to even search up stuff in and around that. If people, are that way inclined or have a desire to want to blank and participate in stupid stuff like that. But yeah, I keep reflecting on the words of those within terrorist organizations, saying that the biggest asset that they have is time. They can just bide their time, sit back, take their time, be like everybody else, so to speak. And then when they're ready, on their own terms, when they're ready, strike without warning and inflict maximum damage as much as they can. So it's definitely, obviously, people in behind the scenes, like the secret intelligence services and all that sort of stuff, they are no doubt working as hard as they can. Police, first responders, all that sort of stuff are working as hard as they can to try to prevent and prepare for things like that if they do happen. Heaven forbid they do. But if Christchurch has taught us anything, like, we're not immune to those types of attacks taking place here in our little country. What I got here? Oh no! Here's one of the fellas here at H.E. Peter John Man They 6295. You're that twat that I kept that keeps gobbing off on the videos. And here you are in the chat. No doubt you're going to have a lot to say, especially now that I've called you a twat, more than likely. But yeah, you're one of those good for the algorithm people. In terms of my little channel, Daniel Warren, I like immigrants. Most of these guys in Raglan are cool, but the town's full of them. There's no housing for the locals now, and the property prices have gone from 330k into the millions. Holy heck. Raglan, that's the surf spot, as well. Over Kiwi 330k is overpriced for some of those places. Sorry to hear that, bro. Helping others is cool, not if it's costs us ourselves though. Costs us ourselves though. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with helping people. I think that's a good space and thing to do, 100%. But man, if it's having that much of an impact in terms of, like in this case here, what I've just read, property prices, that's trucking ridiculous. Online, one thing I've noticed is that immigrants slot straight into the middle class, mediators of the economy that highlight the divide in our own people. Wow, they slot straight into middle class, Yeah, I don't know. Interesting though, if that's been one of your observations that you've seen there online. Robert, I'll send you a link later to a guy who was born in Hamas, joined Mossad, and now goes around the world telling people about it. Brutally honest. Okay, yeah, cool. Send, bro. Send. That'd be an interesting listen or watch, I would assume. Yeah, there's some people out there, that have got some blank and hectic experience, man, across things. Read an ABC article yesterday about increasing rates of youth radicalization in Australia. Yep, via online engagement. Quite sad to see. Imagine similar story with the Bondi son and dad. Yeah, no doubt. Even the video that I did the reaction to spoke about like the spy that was working for ASIO, who was giving his side of it. And I think what's those blinking inquests or inquiries called? Oh, bloody hell, I forget the name of it, where they make a big hoo-ha and do a proper deep dive, supposedly, into the whole situation with regards to how that happened in the Bondi situation. Yeah, he was one of those young fellas on the streets, and then this radical Islamist group, they're good at their job, like their recruitment pattern, like they've got some of that stuff down to a T, down, dare I say, to a science. Their profiling of individuals, of people, how to approach them, what to say, and then just grooming them, basically, just nurturing them, grooming them, in other words, till they become fanatics or that involved and become believers that they're prepared to just blink and do whatever it is asked of them, which is, from that perspective, not only is it interesting, it's quite impressive. Not that I admire the blinking terrorist groups, but it is impressive that, but also not surprising that they are that structured and organized to be able to do that. And the fact that if that's happening online, I mean, you look at things like, what's that game? Sean Ryan did a interview with a guy that got abused, Roblox, I think it is, or whatever it's called, Robolox or Roblox. Sexual predators, no doubt, jihadists or extremists or terrorists are utilizing the same sort of devices, I would imagine, to entice young people. In same way gangs, organized crime these days use young people to carry out a number of offences because they know that the youth crime laws and penalties are so piss weak that they will just be released again, and that those then organized crime leaders can utilize those young people again, pay them peanuts. It's probably pop star wages for those young people, more money than they've seen in their lives or than they would probably expect to see. And because of how they're treated, again, organized crime are very good at nurturing, grooming young people, young minds, and shaping them and molding them to do the things that they need and or want them to do, especially while they're young, which is just as a massive uphill battle for the police, so terrorists and organized crime are very well coordinated. Dare I say, blinking politicians aren't exempt from that blinking corruption space as well, right? So we've heard and seen some of that in Australia and no doubt here in NZ and other parts of the world like the US, etc., and the UK, where that corruption happens, and they manage to get in with people that are supposedly in positions of power, authority, and supposed to be protecting the community, but they choose a different option. So yeah, those twits should be blinking executed as well. Anyway, lucky there's a bit, what's this, Daniel Warren? Lucky there's a little bit of Māori land around here, or there be no locals. Royal Commission, yes, that's the one. I was blinking. I kept thinking, but I knew that wasn't it. I was thinking coronial inquiry. Royal Commission. That's the word. Royal Commission, not bloody coronial inquiry. Jeepers. Royal Commission. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Like that spy, where I was going with that. Apparently he's been declined, or he's not been interviewed as part of that Royal Commission into the Bondi shootings, which just seems ridiculous to me. He was employed by ASIO to be a spy and in bed within that Islamist terrorist group. He did that job. He provided information and reports to people to watch that father and son duo, or at least watch the son. And somehow that father and son dropped off the radar completely. And he also talks, he gives his take on that. All of a sudden there were new detectives or investigators or people that were being assigned, and the ones that had the experience that he'd been speaking with had obviously had apparently, I should say, pulled off and put onto something else. Like that Royal Commission should uncover a heck of a lot of failings on the part of the AFP and or ASIO and what they did and or didn't do. Royal Commission. Thank you, Commander Nov. Kiwi, of course, no one listens to the people who actually firsthand know anything. Led by morons. I was on the fence, Daniel, but you've convinced me. Let's protect Māori lands. Hey, there you go. I like in terms of what's just happened here, I like anybody that, well, actually, no, not anybody. I like most people that join my live and have comments. The retards can blink and just stay in the shadows for all I care. Or if they do jump on here, be prepared for me to call you a retard and just blink and out you for being a twat. But if you choose to stay, then good for you. But here, like these conversations, putting things out or sharing our thoughts, our whakaaro, having our say in this forum, again, I think it would be cool. Well, probably more cool for me, because then I'm not just listening to myself talk the whole time. But again, that's the life of being a YouTuber, eh? That's the life I've chosen right now. So, like I think I said at the start of this live, it's getting used to, well, just probably going to be talking to myself. That's what I thought anyway. But some of you have taken time out of your evening to be here. Why? I don't know, but I'm grateful. And it's nearly midnight here in NZ. I don't feel tired at all. But again, I think that's just the nature of doing training late and getting showered and cleaned up. I feel a lot warmer now, even though it still probably helps having the two hoodies on, but definitely feel a lot warmer now. And maybe that's because of talking and reading out some of the comments and stuff in here that people have taken the time to whack in here. Where are we? Yeah. Have we solved New Zealand's political issues tonight? No. But I've had a bit of a laugh in the process. I've seen some laughing faces, at least earlier in the chat, and some laughing face emojis that popped up on the side during stuff that I was probably rattling on about. So at least a couple of people, or a couple of other people, have had a bit of a chuckle away this evening as well. It's going to be nearly early morning soon, the rate I'm going. My apologies again for not doing the live as scheduled, or as usually, as I try to do them on the Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 in the evening. They are usually scheduled to go till 8:30 in the evening, but I don't know if I've run a live recently that has gone for just an hour. I think all my lives have been run well over time. I know I've got a real world record live, for a personal record of over 5 hours on one of those lives. Went so long that the battery on my microphone was flashing red, and so therefore I don't think it was working. So it must have just switched over to the laptop itself. We have solved them, but like I said, they won't listen. Yeah, we've given our take, given our take on how to solve the world's problems. So, in summary, then maybe the politicians should just be honest. Blinken, I think they miss the point of just how valuable and how much more credibility I think New Zealanders would give them if they could take ownership and be accountable, if they could tell the truth, and if they would follow through and deliver on the things that it is that they've said that they would do, particularly electoral promises, and not backtrack, try to distract, or come up with excuses and or blame other people or other parties when they don't deliver on those things. And again, likewise, when the blinking cost of living and the economy seems like it's going down the toilet, and unemployment rate is the highest it's ever been here in NZ in more than 11 years, and we've got concerns over who is voting and who should be voting in our general elections and all that sort of stuff in NZ. And then we've got immigration concerns and homelessness concerns, defence concerns, health concerns, property concerns, supply and demand, and the list just goes on and on. It could potentially seem quite, I suppose, doom and gloom, for people. Go, oh, who would want to live in New Zealand? Why would you want to live there? Bloody hell, that place just sounds like it's going down the toilet. It's not. I don't think it is. I mean, it doesn't. We don't have. I don't think we've got very good leaders in the positions of trust and accountability and actual leadership. I don't think they're doing a very good job at all. And I don't know who the right party is. I know it's not national right now. I can't say that it's a Labour. Looking at Chris Hipkins and the other people in that party, not to party Māori either. Like, people might go, that's blasphemy, Joe. You're a Māori. You should be. No, I don't need to vote for them. Blinking heck, they've had their own bloody rarurarus as far as I've seen this year, last year. Blinken talk about division. Like, that's another party that Blinken seemed heavily divided, so they don't get my vote either. Greens Party, I know bugger all about them. Not really interested in New Zealand First. Again, I know bugger all about the vast majority of these political parties, but I've got some homework to do. But like I said, hopefully I'll get to a stage whereby I vote. I would probably share that and give my reasons in a video. I don't particularly care. I mean, I don't know that people would care who I vote for. But I think when it comes time to me making a decision to vote here in NZ, then I should be able to at least have a better idea of why I voted for that party or those people. But I can't promise that I'll be voting in this upcoming election. So it may not be for another 3 years, because I don't know that I'm going to be dedicating a whole bunch of my bandwidth to studying up on which party I should be voting for. Some of you on here might be saying, oh, you should, Joe, you should be looking into that more. You should be dedicating more time. Yeah, maybe. But I got a whole list of reaction videos to do. So I'm going to be making sure I chip away at those, doing the reaction videos and doing stuff that we enjoy, that you enjoy, that I enjoy. Because people might listen to this or watch this or look at NZ and think, oh man, that place just, I don't know about living there. I don't think I want to stay there, which is probably why a number of people that have been here, long time New Zealand citizens, which is probably why a number of them have jumped ship. And more often than not, a lot of them go to Australia. Can't say that I blame them. Beautiful country, great place, still a land of great opportunities, even though they've got that twat Albanese over there in power. But still a great place. At the same time, I still love NZ, and I think this is a pretty great place too. If we could just sort out our leaders and the government, get the right people into those positions that have got some common sense, that are honest, that are and will be accountable, that are doing their best, that will do their best to deliver on behalf of the majority of people here in Aotearoa, New Zealand as a whole, that will put a pause on immigration for a while till we steady the ship, that will look at how do we improve and reduce the unemployment rates, that will look at the cost of living and the economy and tax rates and property and supply and all that sort of stuff. Like, there's a big list of things to do. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a massive list of things to do, but it's not like the Prime Minister has to do all of that, him or herself, whoever gets voted in. That's why they've supposedly got all these other people with, I assume, qualifications and degrees. But it just seems like they're very good at slating each other or trying to put each other down, instead of just coming together, pooling their resources and going, how do we just unify this government or these governments so that you're not being pulled here, there, and everywhere, to the point whereby you're working in the best interests of the country or the majority of the New Zealand people. How do you what's the words? How do you optimize that? How do you coordinate that? And I don't think it's a general election, because the people that are getting elected, They're blinking like Albin. They know their elbow from their bumhole. It's just, yeah. And interesting. We need somebody like that, Jordan Peterson or Simon Sinek, those big brain people. Put them in a think tank and Blinken, mix them around and let them hash out and talk about those sort of things. I bet they'd have some really smart ideas on how to elect the right people for those types of important roles. Literally, you're dealing with people's lives in that sort of leadership position in governing a country, and people depending on you to make the right calls so that some people can just continue to survive and do what it is that they want to do, be happy, raise their family, be positive contributors to their community, to society, not be a dickhead. Yeah, that's probably the best idea I've had tonight. Get people like Jordan Peterson or Simon Sinek, whoever else the other big brainy people are, and talk about, or not just talk about, but come up with actionable things that they reckon to solve the blinking political nonsense or the political circus that we see and hear in the different countries, and New Zealand being one of those at the moment. Yeah, I'm quite proud of myself for that thought. That's probably the smartest thought I've had. Handball it and get people like Jordan Peterson and Simon Sinek to sit down and hash it out. There's probably a few other military leaders I could throw into that conversation too, which would have some good ideas and be in the mix of those people, people that I served with in the military. Anyway, what do we got here? 5 hours on a live. That's a whole day at school. Come on, Denolf. Yeah, I think it was last week, Monday. I think it was last week, Monday's live. It was like over 5 hours, bro. They don't run this any more than GOAT can employ artillery effectively. They didn't learn lesson number one, where what makes this country run, make it work. They're just the janitor, keep things clean. Yeah, well, they must be the highest paid janitors in the world for doing not a very good job, for making more mess than what they're cleaning up. So they suck at being janitors as well. It's this, Kaiser FX 1246. It's the system that is not serving the people. Voting for the system won't work. Okay, what do we do then? Well, maybe we add you to that mix with the Jordan Petersons and the Simon Sineks. Get the think tank going with those that provide what the options are. If it's the system that is not serving the people, I tend to agree with that. So what do we do about it? Voting for the system won't work. So if everybody just doesn't vote, then what happen? What does happen? Say if the whole of New Zealand just didn't vote, nobody vote. Well, that won't happen because those twats in their blinking relevant parties are obviously going to vote. But what would happen if nobody voted? Well, just probably just keep the same blinking peanut heads in power, wouldn't it? I would assume. Rubber Kiwi, do the maintenance and S the F up. We'll let you know if we need anything else done in our country. Wouldn't that be nice? Daniel, retracted message. Needs a total rebuild with new parts. I agree with that. I think I said something similar. From that Cordero Joe, I'd vote for you. Yeah, Nick Minute. Rubber Kiwi, it's all gone to SHIT since Mum QE2 left us. Queen Elizabeth II. Yeah, who knows, eh? Yeah. I need to speak with Shubs and ask him, because I see he only has really ACT party members on there, David Seymour and a couple of other people, but I do know that he extends the invitations to other people. I haven't watched a lot of his stuff, so I don't know what he's asking those people, but yeah, it'd be interesting. There's lots of questions I'd like to ask. I'd love to, obviously Luxon didn't want to stick around after that press conference saying that we are united. It's like, all right, we're going to go back to work now. People obviously want to ask questions, and he's like, yep, get me the truck out of here. These people are probably standing behind me as I'm saying we are all united, and probably got their knives out like this. Yeah, that's mad. Commander Nov, interesting fact, there was a German economist called Friedrich List who saw economics as a tool to improve human dignity and raise the general living standard, not just to generate corporate profit. And I would have thought in my small brain that that's what improving the economy was meant to do, improve the economy and the lifestyles for the greater good, for the population, not line people's pockets or individuals' pockets so that a handful of people make a lot of money while a whole bunch of other people, while the majority seemingly struggle. Interesting. Friedrich List, you are well read, Commander Nov, and no doubt, knowing what I do know about you and some of your background, that's not surprising that you across some of these facts. Rubber Kiwi, I think she played a bigger role in running things than people let on. Charles is hope. What is he now? The king of all religions or something now? That made a bit of a hoo-ha in the news. I haven't done any reactions to that. I did get some requests to that. Hey, what do you think about this in regards to King Charles's decision in regards to religion and blah blah? I was like, I don't particularly care. What people want to believe is up to them. Whatever faith they have, cool. Respect to you. Well done. Don't bang on or try to preach anything to me. Like my days of having any sort of faith in that type of stuff are long behind me, and I've got no interest in it. This is Daniel Warren. If nobody voted, the king would step in and form a government. Yeah, right, eh? Here in NZ, eh? Rubber Q, probably. Great, he'll send Andrew Andrew to be PM. Andrew, is that the Epstein Lincoln twat? Andrew? Just trying to picture the guy that was sitting in the car and he's like had the blinking ugly facial expression. My internet's probably frozen on that face that I just made just then. Or somebody's probably just frozen it on that part of the live. Yeah, bloody. Ugh, that's just a murky, blinking, dark, evil space of blinking turd, that blinking, all that rubbish. Probably much like the government. Yep, that's the okay. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, no good, that one. That probably is what would happen. People would probably look to try to do something like that. Yeah, be interesting to see. I'm curious to see where this country is in 5 years' time, from a political perspective. Who the leaders are, who the leader is, what more I know or how much less I know about politics in 5 years' time. People probably go, heck, you better blink and learn quicker than 5 years' time, cuzzy. Vote this year, and then another 3 years' time, I'm assuming there'll be another one. So yeah, probably a fair point in that. Hopefully, I'll know more, not only before this upcoming election, but by the time the next election happens as well. Remember what they did to William Wallace at the end of Braveheart? I'd happily do worse to some people. Andrew first. Yeah, bloody hell. Prince Andrew versus Andrew Hastings. Lesson. Don't name your kids Andrew. Commander Nov, that is great advice. That should be the title of one of my videos. That should be the title of this live, actually. Maybe I'll weave it into the title and edit it later. P.S. Don't name your children Andrew. Blank and heck, and have a picture of those two mugs side by side. What a crock of bloody rubbish those two twats are. Yeah, anyway, that's not what this live is about. It's supposed to be solving New Zealand's political issues and drama over here in my space here at Blinken Midnight in New Zealand time. What's going on there? Oh, that's still going. Oh, that's all right. Don't need that. What's this? Reminds me of a kid we called Andy the Handy. I'm going to make sure I don't laugh too loud while my darling is having a rest. But mind you, it's good. I'm in a whole nother room away, bundled myself into this corner, which is in the opposite direction from where the room is, and we've got a wall in between as well. So hopefully there's enough to dampen out Andy the Handy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about there. Geez, I think they made me laugh because I think of inappropriately laughing because I think of the blinking names. I was blinking terrible at school, calling people like primary school. I'd like to think I probably haven't even grown out of it. I was about to say I'm glad I've grown out of it, but I likely haven't. I don't think I have. Good coffee. Sup, bro, you need to check out a clip from Green Beret Chronicles. He's got a good one with a couple of rangers talking about their experience working alongside SEALs. Okay, Green Beret Chronicles. Good coffee. .847. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, I've definitely got a heck of a lot. I just did another part 8 reaction to Chris Van Sant on the Sean Ryan show. That's still in part 1 because of Blinken hadn't done any reactions to that one for a while, and I got hit up, much like I did about the New Zealand SAS one. People hit me up and said, "Hey, are you going to finish the Chris Van Sant one?" And they're like, "Are you going to finish the John Striker Meyer one?" And Chris Miller, the guys that have been on the Sean Ryan show that I've done several reactions to, they are Blinken hours long, and I think pretty sure Chris Van Sant's got a 2-part or 3-part series. First one's like 2 hours, next one's 2 or 3 hours, and I think he's got a 3rd part which might be similar. So yeah, I'm only into the part 1 of it, and I've only just done part 8, which I think I'm at over an hour 50 minutes so far in total. So yeah, I've got a massive backlog of military reaction videos, but thanks for that. Good coffee. Green Beret Chronicles. I think I have heard of that. Is that the African American guy that wears the baseball cap? The hard bend on the front, the peak of the cap. I think that's the guy. I might be wrong. Just refined it, bro. Don't build him like us anymore. What's this? Oh, Oansies. Oh, sorry, I just seen the other one. Pansies. I was going to say, what's Oansies? Pansies. Good coffee. Yep, that's him. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm with you. I am a subscriber to his channel. I like some of his stuff, or some of the stuff that I've seen. Like I'm basing that on the shorts clips of his stuff that I've seen. So yeah, I've definitely got some of his content to react to. So thanks for that heads up on there. So a couple of rangers talking about their experience work alongside SEALs. Okay, no doubt. So yeah, big thumbs up to you all. Hey, I don't know if anybody's got anything else to I think I've spoken about or dribbled on about what I planned on jumping on here for. What am I going to do after? I'm probably going to have something to eat, to be honest, because what have I had to eat today? What did I have to eat today? I don't think I had anything to eat today. No, I didn't. I know I had one of these. I had one of these today. This one's not open, but I had one of these. I should have shouted them out. Waimanuka.co.nz, New Zealand's premium non-alcoholic sparkling beverage, honey and lemon. Get yourself some. So I know I've had one of these, and I'm pretty sure I haven't eaten any there. I can't think of any. I'm looking at the shelves there. Eggs, nah, didn't have any eggs. Cereal, didn't have any cereal. Fruit, didn't have any fruit. Maybe I'll have some fruit after. And maybe, well, I'm not super hungry, but maybe I'll have a fruit and then we'll see what happens from there. I did have a Milo at the start of this. So Milo with some honey in it. Yeah, I think that probably helped calm the hunger pains probably. But I do feel like nibbling on something now, so I probably will eat something. Not the greatest of times and definitely well outside when I would normally eat. But I think it's okay. Like I'll typically eat when I'm hungry anyway. And if I haven't eaten anything today, I don't think it's going to hurt if I have something after midnight. I have big thumbs. I have big thumbs, LOL, on my cell. Oh, I gotcha. Sorry for the Oansies/Pansies. Okay, gotcha. Well, you're on your phone. Okay. Daniel Warren, King William IV disbanded government and it didn't go down very well. Ever since then, they don't get involved unless they are needed. Even they kicked Andrew out of his house, took his patch. Well, bloody good. there should be a heck of a lot more done to that twat by the sounds of things. But I also think there's likely a heck of a lot of other people that are a part of that group that should be probably likely having their homes taken off them as well. Yeah. So anyway, where was I? I think I've solved all the problems that I planned on solving tonight, and or this morning now, literally this morning now, and I've probably earned. I can see bananas there, mandarin there. Maybe I'll have one of those, and a drink of water. Won't be having any more of this. Mind you, I had one of these earlier today, and I'll leave you, good people, to get some sleep if you're here in NZ, or even maybe in Australia, 2 hours behind, depending on where you are. If you're in Perth, then you've got more time. What are you, 5 hours behind, I think, over there in Perth? But yeah, look after yourselves. Good coffee. Daniel Warren, Rubber Kiwi, Commander Nov, Talk, I think was on there, Iron Lion. What else we got on there? Or who else? What else? I think those are the main ones. I might have missed people. Apologies if I did. I don't need to worry about reading out the twat's name again. He came, said hi, and then hasn't said anything else, which suits me just fine. But no doubt he's probably looking. My Soap, that's the other one. Poeticus. I think that's everybody. Appreciate you stopping by, for commenting, joining in, and helping me and us together solving New Zealand's political problems. We should form our own party. What would we call our own political party? This group, this little live YouTube group. Anyway, look after yourselves. Have a good rest of your evening or day, depending on where you are, or night. Awesome cordial chat. Yeah, appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next one. On a wave to you all. Have another Milo. Yeah, possibly. I might have another Milo too. That's a good idea, actually. I think I will have a Milo. Then I probably won't eat anything. End stream.